have to move y'all out the way. I guess I could turn it. I have full control over this, and I'm not used to it. I'm used to it being in a static position. But like I can just like do that. Nobody can stop me. Who gonna tell me no? Except for me. I might tell me no. I kind of don't like it. I kind of hate it. I'll be honest. Regret. Instant regret. Is that possible? Or just move the green out of the way? It just feels so long. Like I've been working in this for so long. Just move on. Just do it like this, I guess. I don't know, man. I need somebody here to make choices for me. I only thrive when I'm arguing. I used to get told that all the time growing up. You should be a lawyer with how much you argue. Like, dude, no. I am not the type to be in a well-structured, like, system. I'm not generally a rule follower. I don't know if you guys knew that about me. Also, like, being a lawyer just seems like you only see the worst parts of society, and I don't think I need help with that. Seeing the worst in people. Oh, what I was saying earlier is I finally got back into reading. I haven't been reading. It's like, I have a reading goal this year of, I'd say 90 books, because I hit 80 last year. It was a struggle. But I also didn't do what I did this year, which is take like 2 months off of reading. I don't know why, but like for the month of like April and March, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do something that I enjoy. Which is frustrating. But I couldn't read any books. I read some comic books because Perfect World has a good list of comic books, and I had gotten a good stack that I hadn't ripped through yet, so I supplemented comic books, which in my opinion that still counts towards my reading goal, and I don't want to hear anything otherwise because fuck you. It's my reading goal. It's about what I want to read in the year. But I finally got back into reading, and there's this author. I actually found her on TikTok, and I do some arc reading too. But she recently released like the 9th book of a series, and I got the arc for it. But unfortunately, it wasn't. I thought it was one of the ones where like you could just pick up and you didn't have to like know all the other stories, because I had done an arc for the series that I'm reading now, where it was like, I think it's the 3rd book in the series, but they're standalone, so it didn't really matter. Like, you would know some of the background characters if you had read the other books first, but you didn't have to know them to like read the book. And it was good. It was a good book, and I had bought the first one in the series but never got around to reading it until like last month. And she's just a good author. Her books are so readable. I think they might go a little long, but like not in a bad way. Like, just like, it could have been resolved by now, but I'm glad it's not, because I'm not ready to give up on these characters, you know? And it's good. It's nice to get back into books. I missed reading. I kind of did it to myself, because Kindle has this thing where they have like achievements, and I have like an unhealthy relationship with achievements, because if there's a list to complete, then I must do it. Or if there's like a daily check-in thing, like Snapchat has the streaks or whatever. Yeah, I have an unhealthy relationship with those, because if I don't get to it that day, or something happens, or I'm not motivated or in the mood to do it, like in the mood to read that day, and I fuck up my streak, because I had like a 6-month streak, dude, like it was long, then I spiral into like an unhealthy depression about it, which is so dumb. So dumb, but it's just what happens. And I got caught up in it, and that's what happened, and it's like, oh. Then my brain's like, well, if you can't accomplish your goal of reading the correct amount, like, every single day, then I guess you'll just never read again. And I've been like fighting my brain to be like, no, I can read just like a chapter. It's fine. It's okay if I only read a chapter a day or a week even. Like, it's fine. Let's just get back into reading because we enjoy it. My brain's like, nope, you broke your streak. You can't do it. That's what I've been fighting for like the last 2 months. And I finally got a book that piqued my interest enough to where I actually sat down and read the whole thing. Probably not in like the best way because I read like half of it in one night, but I don't care. It's got me back into reading, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, it was good. And then now I'm reading like the second book in that series, and then I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna reread the third or just skip over it because like I read it. I think I read it last year, but it was like a year ago. And now with the context of the other characters and like because it's a motorcycle club book, and now that I know like I don't know more about the club, it would be more interesting. I don't know, it was good by itself even, so who knows? Who knows what I'll do? Probably just reread it. I don't reread books very often. Probably should do it more often because I like books. It's also hard to find like an author that I'm loyal to. I just haven't. I used to be like that. I used to buy, like, I would find an author I liked and just like buy everything from them. But now that I'm an adult and I can just search forever for new authors, I don't generally do that. I don't know why. I do sometimes. There's a few authors where I've been like, I like this. I will buy everything you've ever created. Even if I don't have any intention of reading it. Also, sometimes just can't. Like, one of the books that I get, like I'll get the first in the series. A lot of the books I have in my Kindle are free because I have a subscription thing that tells me when books are free on Amazon. Or ebooks anyway. So a lot of my Kindle is filled with stuff that seemed interesting, but I didn't pay money for, so they're not always good. But they were free. They weren't good. Just like piling up easy to read. That's not helping. It needs to be a better, like, I know like Amazon would be like, you like this book, so try this book. But like, I don't know, there's minutia in books that I like. I don't like books just because it has the same exact trope over and over again, or the same genre of book. Like, just because it's fantasy doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. It might not be the fantasy that I like, you know? I wish there was like I guess a psych eval quiz or something that you could fill out on a site and it'd be like, this is the stuff that you're into. This is way more like this, like people who have actually read the books instead of just some kind of, maybe AI could do it. But like even book recommendations, like there's some stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, I like this that they recommended, but I don't like this that they recommended, you know what I mean? And because, you know, two people's preferences in a book might not be the same. Like, I liked this book for a completely different reason than you liked this book, and for that reason I can no longer trust your recommendations because we liked it for a different reason. So therefore the taste in the next book, you may love it and I may hate it. So it would be interesting if there would be like a way for it, like some kind of like quiz you could take, and it would recommend books that aren't necessarily all in the same genre, because I don't really care about genre, but the thing I do care about is just books that make my brain happy. And I don't know how to explain what makes my brain happy. I just know there's certain books that meet that. It also depends on the day, I guess. And there is an app where it does like, what are you in the mood for? But you have to know like what you're in the mood for, and I can't do that. I need something to tell me what I'm in the mood for. Because I can't always know. Just like know what I want to watch or read or whatever. Let me make that app. That'd be great. I just need like a litmus test for what content I want to watch today. But the problem with that is it would become so easily broken with capitalism, because people would be like, pay to promote mine, and then that's broken, no longer usable, doesn't do its job anymore. Sad. I've already broken the thing I created in my brain. It would be super helpful though. I'd waste so much less time trying to find, because like I'll like scroll through the books that I have in my Kindle and just be like, nope, not today, nope, not today. Like I have to read the like description and then like decide whether or not that seems interesting today, because like whenever I download them they seem interesting that day, but like it could be like a year later before I get to reading it, you know what I mean? And by then I'm like, ew, gross, I don't want to read like something about that. Maybe that's just a me problem. That's probably why there's no app for it yet, or there is an app and I just don't know about it. I guess I haven't really tried. I just kind of let things come to me. I don't really hunt stuff down like that. But which book will, like, if you know what mood you're in, it'll give you book recommendations. But you have to know what mood you're in. And that's in lies the problem on why I've never actually used that app for book recommendations. Also, I don't always necessarily want to buy new books. Like, I wish it could tie into my Kindle and be like, within your library of books, this is what you are most in the mood to like read. That would be phenomenal. If somebody could just live my life for me. Sure. You know, it'd be cool if you could like you know how in The Sims you control people's lives. You could just like give it up for a couple days and be like, let somebody else control it. Maybe not necessarily Sims players, because sometimes they tend to be the most unhinged, but nice to just let go. Let somebody else, a big deity in the sky, take over for a day. I already know what my mom would say to that. I guess a lot of people have fear of possession. I just don't. If it's a nice demon, you know what I mean? I don't want somebody who's gonna come in and ruin it. My coworkers this week were, I don't even know how this conversation started. Something about how like, don't you want vertical like movement in your career? And I was like, nah, bro. And like I went off and I was like, no, I don't want to vertically move in a system that is inherently built on exploiting those below you. Like that's not a system that I want to progress in or become a bigger part of. And like they just looked at me like, what the fuck is she on? And that's the moment when I realized I spend too much time on the internet because normal people are like, no, you gotta continue to further your career for the rest of time, even though we all know that's a fallacy, because there's a limited number of people that can move up. Like there's a like in the corporate America and every corporate everywhere, right? There's only so much like vertical mobility, right? I've done horizontal shifts in my career, which I think is honestly more fun because you get to kind of decide where you want to go and what you're doing. But like vertical mobility or vertical movement and like constantly being promoted up and stuff just doesn't make sense to me, because one, there's only a limited amount of up you can go, right? So in our, just within our department, right, there's low level tier workers, and whenever I was in help desk there was 1, 2, 3, and then there was the management, which I was never going to go to management, so there's never that tier. But so there's 3 tiers within like the technician, so 1, 2, 3, and then management 4, and then director 5, and then the CEO, which is 6 tiers. I'm not like within like my first year I had already moved up to tier 3, so like I'm stuck. That's where I'm done moving up. And they're like, oh no, you'll just move to another sub department and that's continuing to move up. And that's not true. That's not moving up, that's moving laterally, which is fine as long as I'm making more money. But that's not vertical like movement within my career. So I was like, by your logic, this makes no sense, because that means that I've been failing at my career, which in fact I haven't been, because obviously I'm moving around. But like, why would I want to move up whenever the people at the top are the ones that are most exploitive of those at the bottom? Like, I don't want to be that kind of person. Like, if I owned my own company, that's not how I would run it. I wouldn't run it based on, if you own the thing, you make more money. That just doesn't seem right or fair to me. Like, if I owned a company, everybody would make the same amount of money, because I expect everybody in the company to be putting in the same amount of work, right? And if you're not, you can leave. Like, if you're not giving the same amount of effort as your coworkers, like, you're just a detriment to the company, right? So, like, it doesn't make sense to me where everybody's like, we're all gonna move up continuously in our career. It's like, we can't do that, because we can't all become managers. Like, if there's 6 of us in our department, only one of us can be a manager. So like, how are we supposed to all move up vertically in our career if that's not even a thing that can possibly happen? Because it's like, not all of us are meant to be managers. Like, a management position is a very specific type of person, and I don't think everybody's cut out to be a manager, which is why you have so many people who are bad at being a manager, because they were never meant to be a manager. Like, it takes a certain type of person to manage people, and I think most people who are in that position are not there because they want to manage people and do a good job. They're there because of vertical mobility in their career and like the push to keep going up. When in fact they would be doing a better, more fulfilling job if they had just stayed at where they were and just gotten paid more. It's also weird because like, that means you have to constantly get in new people and train them up, which is such a detriment to time and value in your company, because you're constantly losing those that are most talented by giving them this fallacy of moving up in their career, or their career's dead-ended if they haven't moved up. And that's just dumb to me. Like, that just doesn't, that system seems broken, like, inherently broken in a way that just doesn't make sense. So every time somebody's like, don't you want to move up in your career? I'm like, no, I did that already. Like, I am to the point that I want to be. Like, there's no more further up in my career that I could possibly want to go, because it's like, I'm not going to get into management, and I'm already at a sysadmin level in IT, and that's enough for me. Like, I don't want to be a network engineer, for one. It just, my brain doesn't click with that, and I'm not going to force my brain to like try to do work that it's not capable of doing. Like, I can't memorize subnets and numbers and stuff like that. It's just not possible. I cannot do it. Like, I've told him, like, I cannot do the job that you do. I cannot. He's like, oh no, you could with time. I'm like, no, I physically cannot do the job that you do. Like, my brain does not function in a way in which I could do that job at anywhere near the amounts that you can do it, because your brain just has the brain for that. I don't. And I don't have any interest either. Like, I like my job because a lot of it, like, yes, obviously it's the tech field, right? Very technical. But there is a lot more creativity in how we use the systems that we use on my side of it, whereas theirs is all technical, and like, my brain just doesn't care about that. So it's just not, I'm an asset to my team because I bring in the more creative side of stuff, whereas they kind of get stuck in this loophole of technicalities. And sometimes I'm like, what if we thought about it in a different way? And then it's like, oh, yeah, none of us thought to think of it in a different way. Good idea. It's like, okay. To me, that brings enough value that I don't need to do their job. They're doing their job just fine. And whenever they're done doing their job, they'll find somebody else who can do their job just as good as them. It won't be me. I understand the need to like promote people that you trust into the position, so that everything you've worked on for your whole career doesn't just like go into shambles when you leave. But like, at the same time, I don't understand caring. Like, whenever I leave my job, I'm done there. Like, everything that I did there doesn't matter anymore. Like even just leaving help desk, I'm like, well, this is how we did it whenever I was there, but I'm not there anymore, so I don't really care. Like, it can be devastating sometimes whenever like everything you did for the last like 5 years is like no longer in place, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, who cares? You know what I mean? It's just work. I guess that's what it really comes down to. I just don't It's just, it's not like the part of my life that I live for, you know what I mean? Like it concerns me a lot whenever everybody's whole life or when somebody's whole life revolves around work. It's like, are you forgetting that like work is just supposed to be this thing that you do so that you can like do the things that you want to do? Like, I don't know. I know there's that whole fallacy of do what you love to make money, but like that doesn't always work, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of luck involved in that. But there's a lot of my hobbies. I don't know. I fluctuate so often between different hobbies. I feel like it'd be hard to be like, I'm gonna make a business and just like do this one thing. Like I would get bored. That's why I like having a day job, because I can just like do boring day job stuff that doesn't matter and it's just a waste of time. It does feel like that though, like you're just sitting in this chair for 8 hours a day, wasting away your life instead of doing something that you actually enjoy. But at the same time, I don't put my whole life into my job like some people do. Like, it's literally just a job. Like, it's not my life. And it concerns me when that's your whole life. It's like, some people are like that. Like, all of their friends are at work. All of their, like, sociability is just at work. So if they're not in the office, like, their life is, like, just on hold until they get back to the office. And those are the people that I really worry about, because it's like, dude, like, there's so much more to life than sitting in an office all day. Everybody at work really hates it whenever I say our jobs are made up and don't really matter in the long run, but it's true. It really doesn't matter. We play with imaginary numbers all day just to make more imaginary numbers, which is what I call money. I'm getting sick of my career. I think I'm ready for a career change. I just don't know how to do that. That was never something they taught in school. I wish they would teach that in school, like how to find, one, a new career, two, that doesn't cost money, because everybody's like, just go to college. How to find something that you enjoy doing, because that would be so helpful to know. Because like, I got into IT because I didn't want to do teaching anymore. And I was like, oh, I know some stuff about computers. And then I got a programming degree because I was like, oh, I like video games. And that was really fun and enjoyable. It's not something I want to do for a living, because it's hard. And like, the environment in which you would have to work in is soul destroying, is the best way that I could come up with it. So like, no thanks. I don't need help with that. But I also don't know, because like, everybody says you pick your career in high school and that's what you do for the rest of your life. And that probably works for a lot of people, but like, I don't know if I could do IT for the rest of my life. I really don't. But I just don't know like how to like go about like, one, breaking into a different career, and two, like how to discover if it's something that I want to do. Also, like, I feel like my field is like the easiest field to stay in, because like IT is not going anywhere anytime soon, you know what I mean? And like, people are always like, industries are dying, and I'm like, I don't want to accidentally like throw away my career just to get into a dying industry. But I don't know how does one determine such things? Because like, I would get into like, I think publishing would be fun, but then again, like, I know there's a lot of bullshit that goes into that too, so I don't know if that's even an option. I don't know. I don't know how to find a different type of career. The thing that I said I was gonna do my whole life, I didn't do, because well, it's garbage, and I'm glad I didn't get into it. People who teach they're crazy. You guys are crazy. You know it. And I'm glad you do it, but I could never. I did my time at a daycare and decided it was best if I didn't continue down that road. But I don't know. I don't know how one determines, like, it's not like I'm looking for something to do the rest of my life, because that's a fallacy created by old people. who literally thought that like you could climb a career forever, which is silly. I think that also stems from people didn't have careers as long. And since people live longer now, their careers last longer, right? The working part of your life is a lot longer than it used to be because 1,000 different things. People live longer, are healthier, longer. Okay, stuff like that, right? Retirement ages later. But with all those factors, that means people stay in careers longer, which means that you have to love something for like 50 years, and there's just no way I'm gonna enjoy IT in like 20 years. If I'm already 10 years in and I'm like, maybe I should get out, there's no way in like another 10 years I'm gonna be like, oh, I really love my job. It's not gonna be a thing. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. To figure out a way to figure out what I want to do while still doing what I do and never having a gap in money. That's the biggest problem, is that I can't take like a year or two to become an author or whatever, because I still have to make the money. I just don't know. Recommend your career path below, and maybe I'll decide on it. Everybody give me your best sales pitch for your career of choice. Tell me why you love it, why everybody should also be in it, and why you'll probably be doing it for longer than 20 years. I think that's really what I struggle with, is like, I can't imagine myself doing the same thing for 20 years. The fact that I've gotten this far at IT, and I've only been in this career for 10 years is good. But I think it's healthy to reevaluate too, like where you're at constantly. Because you as a human being are always changing, and your interest in life is always changing, and the needs of your life, you know? So it's good to sit back and be like, is this where I'm at? Is this what I want to do? Is this how I want to live my life? Some days I think I just want to like quit my, like one of my coworkers, she does bartending now, or my old coworker, she's not my coworker anymore, obviously. And some days I'm like, man, I think she got it right. Yeah, I quit and just like go work at a bar. It's something I've never done, but I do fantasize about it. I know it's not a glamorous job, but like it's not really what I'm looking for either. Then again, I haven't worked on my feet in decades, so it'd be a struggle to begin with. Also, bartending seems real hard. If I'm being honest, it does not seem like an easy job. Not something that you get into lightly. Also, I don't think I could possibly remember all of the things. Constantly be in the back and Googling, what is an LIT made out of? It's the drink I order and I don't even know what's in it. You know what I mean? I don't even know what all they put in it. I just know it's what I like to drink, so it's what I order. I'm also an enabler, so like I probably should not work in a bar. So I'd be like, yeah, you can have one more. What's the big deal? Kind of feels like my brain is like, you've unlocked that color. You can do it now. Even though these pieces have been sitting in front of me the whole time, it's like, nope, now is the time that you can do that one. This is what I get for turning down the lights today. It's just too bright in here. I don't know, it doesn't bother me when my mom's in here, but like as soon as she's gone, I'm like, why is it so bright in here? Like I had these lights, the side lights on all week, and every time I walked by I was like, why is it so bright in my office? And I actually turned it down. They're turned down from what they usually are. Well, whenever my brain finally decided to do green, here we go. Apparently, it wasn't that hard the whole time. I don't know why it decided to wait so long, but whatever.